It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. Now, why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Got smoked once again in the first round of the playoffs. Because they suck. Haven't won a Super Bowl in about 30 years. Dallas, you suck. I'm wearing that freaking stupid shirt. Look at that stuff. Let's get the Giants on there. Giant game. My son went down to Dallas Stadium and brought me back this T-shirt. It's from a few years ago, though. But welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all? It's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away for the chat box there. Usually trying to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. And fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free. Once again, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe you give this video a thumbs up or share it. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, there's a little ways down in the description box. There's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart, right? I can't stand change. I like things just the way they are. I don't like things when people start changing stuff for actually no reason at all. I'm one of them, get off my lawn, kind of old-time farts, right? The link underneath that, it's a Twitter link. It's always be Twitter to me. It's always been Twitter, right? Yeah, I put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. And as I said, finally, the link on top, it's a Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Very, very original, I know, because my YouTube channel, it's called the same exact thing. But we have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a boatload. There's an awful lot of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, the Giants just keep on keeping on. We got 8 days to go. We're Daniel Jones days away from the draft. In about an hour. We'll be 7 days, 1 week away from the draft. I said I'll be going live. Probably Thursday and Friday, like I did that last year as well too. Last year it was a little bit different because you kind of waited. You had to wait till the Giants picked, and a lot of excitement was building. It's when we hit the 20 spot, and the Giants were only a few picks away, last season, and we had all those wide receivers there. I'm like, Giants are getting themselves a number 1 wide receiver. And then bam, 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 4 wide receivers off the board like that. I'm like, what the is going on? But, the Giants traded up, got Banks, wound up being a good pick. A very, very good pick. We got our number 1 corner. We need another corner. I wonder if they're going to do anything with Adoree Jackson. He's still out there. Now the Giants do some finagling around with some extra money. Maybe we do some contract configurations going on there and everything, right? Maybe we can. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe bring Adoree back. We'll have to wait and see. But we might wind up obviously also grabbing ourselves a cornerback in the draft, which would also wind up being a lot cheaper, especially if we grab the cornerback like in the second or third round. So a lot of good cornerbacks out there. Obviously, we ain't taking one with pick 6, that's for sure. The only way we're going to take one in the first round is we have to trade back. We'd have to jump back. I'm just saying, if the Vikings were to trade up with us or something like that, that'd be about the only, the only way that we'd wind up grabbing a cornerback in the first round. But also, in the second round, that's still a little sketchy because, especially with cornerback, because we had 2 guys, quarterbacks, come in for visits, which that's one of my little stories I'm going to be going over. All right. Let's see here. Nope, that ain't it. All right. So we have, because basically they're coming to an end here, right? The 30 visits that the Giants are allowed to, all the teams are allowed to have. They're coming to an end, and the guys got Knicks and the Rattle Man wind up coming in for a visit. And then I got a little thing here that also kind of goes over, talks about which quarterbacks might be the best fit for the New York Giants, right? So this is from Ed Valentine. It says NFL draft rumors, quarterbacks Bo Nix and Spencer the Rattle Man visit with New York Giants. New York expected to be draft movers and shakers. Ooh. All right. This is a Big Blue View. The Giants are continuing to do their due diligence, and basically that's what it is. It's all due diligence, right? On quarterback prospects. In another article, I'm going to go over a little bit. It's going to break down all the visits that the Giants had, and 6 of them out of those 30 were quarterbacks. Now, basically, they didn't have Caleb Williams in. I don't think it was Caleb Williams in there. So basically, they had like the next 6 best quarterbacks in there, right? So they had May, right? You had Eminem combination, right? You got May, McCarthy, right? You had Daniels, you had Spencer Rattler, right? You had Nix and you had Penix in there. They didn't bring Williams in, right? So they're just doing their due diligence, okay? Now, the interesting thing is that you kind of, just what I'm hearing, that's all right, is that you got Penix and Nix. They're not getting out of the second round. Okay, now the question is with those guys, is somebody going to jump up or is somebody going to grab them, maybe Penix or something like that, late first round? Be interesting. Then you got Nix is not getting, I would be shocked if he got out of the second round. Absolutely shocked. The one thing is with the Rattle Man, right? He's kind of, I don't want to say like a wild card and all like that. He's going to get drafted, but is he going to make it second round or he possibly going to third round? That'll be interesting to see. Let's see here. Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport are both reporting that the Giants had or are having Oregon quarterback Bo Nix and South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler in East Rutherford, New Jersey for one of the 30 visits. Entering the draft, that means the Giants will have spent significant time with all the top quarterbacks who might be available to them over the first 2 days of the draft. Includes, as I said, Nix, Rattler, Penix, May, Daniels, and McCarthy. Pretty much the top 6 of the top 7. I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams is not one of them because, I don't think anything, even an act of God, I don't think could pry Caleb Williams away from the Chicago Bears. And hey, I can't blame him. Especially, they traded away Justin Fields, right? He's no longer, so he's no longer an option. But I mean, if they think Williams is the guy, whoever's calling on the phone, You just, no hablo inglés, no speak English, right? You just hang the phone up, right? Okay. It does. If you're all in on him, draft him. Doesn't matter if somebody wants to give you the next 552 first-round picks, whatever. You just take your quarterback, because to get the quarterback of the future, somebody that you can rock and roll with, hopefully for the next 10, 15 years. Yeah, that's a great place to start. And the Bears are in a golden position, not only to draft a quarterback, but they got 2 top 10 picks. Right. So, I mean, they're really set. I mean, as far as maybe taking Williams, but then drafting somebody else in the top 10 to really, get this rebuild going. Right. So, Bears are doing pretty good. They're going to be doing pretty good for themselves. It says the Giants are movers and shakers. The Giants have the number 6 overall pick. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler is convinced GM Joe Schoen won't be using it. They're looking at all options. I'm pretty convinced they are looking at not only potentially moving up, but potentially moving back as well, Fowler told Chris Canty. This is a team that has a lot of needs, wants to fill them, needs draft capital to do so. I don't think it's quarterback or bust for them. I think they'll be movers and shakers on draft day. So, well, we'll have to wait and see. But it also takes 2 to tango. Now, you just can't say, oh, yeah, no, we just trade back. Yeah, that's all. We'll pick up some extra draft cap. Yeah, that's cool. No, not necessarily. It takes 2 to tango. And just because you have 2 people on the phone, the Giants and whoever, talking to each other, right, it still doesn't mean, the Giants are going to move back from 6 to 13. They're going to want, right? To be compensated for that. And if they can't come up with the proper compensation, deal doesn't happen. Be interesting to know. This is something, it would be kind of interesting to know, but you're never going to know. What all the phone calls are, what all the phone, being made during the trade, and what were the proposed trades and proposed offers and all. You're never going to know that. But that would be something to be interesting. What was offered, to move up. Somebody wanted to move up from 7 to 2 and they offered this and that got turned down. I mean, pretty cool stuff to find out. But once again, all that stuff, you're never going to know about that. But the Giants, let's see here. Their top 30 visits. Okay, they brought in Isaac, edge from Penn State. Then they brought in all the quarterbacks, right? They brought in Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Dunzier, right? Then they brought in Knight, a linebacker from UTEP. They brought in Smith Wade, a cornerback from Washington State. So a lot of these guys will be there in the second round, quite possibly. So that's what they want to do. Say maybe in the third round. The one guy is Sinnott, the tight end from Kansas State. Could be a third rounder, right? But they're bringing in maybe the top of, maybe if they're not going to take Bowers as a tight end, they might be, going after Sinnott. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So, he might be a target in the third round for the Giants. So it wouldn't be a bad pick, right? He's a decent receiving threat, right? But let's see here. They brought in McCarthy. They brought in Boyd, a defensive lineman from Northern Iowa. Barnhart, an offensive lineman from Michigan. Next, they brought in Phillips, another cornerback. They brought in Robinson, an edge from Penn State. Benson, running back from Florida State. Very, very good. If they wound up getting him, they'll be set. That would be fantastic. They'd almost have too many running backs. But, if they got him like in the 4th round or something like that, 3rd, 4th round, that would be fantastic. I would love that. Sinnott, okay, McKinstry, another cornerback from Alabama. The Beebe, a guard from Kansas State. Let's see, Giovanni Matnu, an offensive tackle from the University of British Columbia. Matnu. Giovanni Matnu, I believe it is. They brought in Alt. Right? He's a pick six or bust right there. If you don't, that's the only place you're going to get him. If he makes it to you, you don't even know if he's going to go make it to you. They brought in Dallas Turner and another edge from Alabama. They brought in Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle from Arizona. Johnny Newton, a defensive tackle from Illinois. Payne, a defensive tackle from Virginia Tech. Anuzium. Chigozie Anuzium, I think. Cornerback from Colorado State. Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler. So, I mean, they brought in a bunch of the guys, obviously that they need. There wasn't one interesting. There wasn't a safety. Okay. Cornerback, right? Edge, defensive lineman, offensive tackle. Offensive lineman, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, running back. Pretty much everything except for they brought a linebacker in. So everything but a safety. So I'm not sure if they're feeling good with their safeties or exactly what, but we'll have to wait and see. But they did, just doing their due diligence, I mean, obviously, because you bring somebody in, for a 30 visit, does not, as I've said this many times, sometimes they're bringing these guys in not to say that's the guy, but sometimes they're bringing these guys in just to say that's not the guy, because they see something or they talk to them or they're going over film study or whatever it is, and they're like, nope, cross him off the list. So, but I mean, once again, if you got all these visits, bring the people in, do your due diligence, right? All right, so then they got, which top quarterback prospect is the best fit for the Giants? This is from Giants country. This is from Coach Mean Gene Clemens. All right, well, we got, this is a long article here. He talks about Williams, who's this consensus top prospect pick. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. The one question about Williams is his ability to handle the pressure that comes with the expectations of being an NFL quarterback. Now, the expectations of being an NFL quarterback and the expectations of being an NFL quarterback in New York, that can be a bit much. I mean, if you're a little childish or if you can't handle the pressure and stuff like that, that's why, like, Eli Manning just, the stoic face. Daniel Jones just, you know what I mean? Now, whether I'm not saying Daniel Jones is awesome quarterback and all like that, but he does a good job of handling the media. Right? Eli Manning did a very good job of handling the media. Right? So. Daniels went from a projected day 3 pick before the start of the season to a likely top 5 pick in 2024 NFL draft because of his slight build. He's taller than many realize, but it's 6'4", right? But he's got to really could use to put on some weight. 6'4", he has the height you look for in a passer who needs to navigate amongst the behemoths of the NFL. 6'4" is a very nice height. You start getting 6'5" or so, that's but 6'4", that's a good height, really good height. That Daniels, he has the arm talent to get the job done by passing the ball, but he also possesses a nuclear option when he decides to run the football. He's also the most experienced of the top 3 prospects, which should help him as he transitions into the NFL. But that experience also opens up questions about whether the 23-year-old has reached his ceiling. May is this draft's 6'4", 223-pound package of promise. He has the arm talent to compare to anyone playing the position. He also is a good athlete and can move the chains with his legs. Nothing more demoralizing like to a defense. You know what I mean? Whatever, you hold whatever. First down, you hold them a couple yards. Second down, you hold them to a yard or so. Now it's like 3rd and 7. You're this close to getting off the field, quarterback, Omaha, right? Right. Gets the snap looking. The defense has got everybody covered up. It's 3rd and 7. man, if he throws the ball, it's going to get either intercepted or knocked away for an incomplete. We're going to get the ball back. He's dropping. You got guys swatting at his head, diving at his legs, and coming in. Somebody's trying to rip his head off. He ducks down. The defender goes flying over. He pops back up looking for everybody still covered. And pandemonium's craziness all around him. The defense is this close to getting off the field, and he tucks the ball and runs, right? Gets 8 yards, slides down. 1st and 10 going the other way. Man, nothing more demoralizing to a defense than that. You were this close to getting off the field. 1st and 10, baby. Keep the drive alive. Oh, now you got to play another 3 plays. They get another 1st down. Now that's when you start seeing some hands on the hips and a little huffing and puffing and stuff like that. Then it makes it that much harder to get off the field. The longer the drive, it gets extended, right? So nothing more demoralizing, right? I think that's a word. Then, 3rd down and whatever, and the quarterback slips out and picks up a 1st down. That's tough. Let's see here. His issue is that he does not consistently show these things. He also tends not to put his best foot forward in his highest level competitions. So which quarterback would be the best fit for the Giants' goals? They need a playmaker at the position, not just a game manager who emphasizes protecting the football or a splash player who does not show consistency. Good question. They need a guy who can march the offense down the field, distribute the ball to multiple targets, and march the team down the field with him on their back. Either by one big play or multiple plays that he keeps alive. Players like Jalen Hyatt and Darius Slayton need a quarterback who has faith in their ability to run down passes thrown beyond the defense. Wan'Dale Robinson's run after catch ability needs someone who can get him the ball and give him the chance to make a move after he grabs it. Absolutely. Hitting a guy in stride. So if the guy's running across the middle and he's like wide open, you throwing the ball down behind him. So he's got to stop and catch the ball. Now all his momentum is stopped. Or you throwing the ball, or you throw the ball high, he's got to stop and jump up and catch the ball, land, and then the defense. But if you can hit him in stride and he can start yakking it real good. It's clear that Tyrod Taylor unlocked the receiving group's big playability last season with his willingness to throw the ball down the field. That combined with the team's desire for their quarterback to be a plus runner points to Daniels is the best fit. Daniels is a bigger, faster 11-year-old Taylor. Not sure what that means. He has the perfect blend of pocket poise with his explosive elements once he decides to run. Like Taylor, Daniels throws the best deep ball of any prospect in the last few drafts. This talent helped unlock Malik Neighbors' full potential and led to a Heisman Trophy level season down in Baton Rouge last season. If you compare Daniels' ability with those of Bills quarterback Josh Allen, who is a Brian Daboll pupil, the things that made the Bills' offense so dangerous were Allen's ability to run and the deep ball. Daniels has both qualities, and they are at a higher level than the other 2 quarterbacks at the top of this draft. Daniels' equal comfort operating from inside or outside of the pocket is a unique combination not seen often. This is why he would be the ideal choice to help unlock the full potential of the Giants' offense. So, but once again, with that, it's fantastic. You talk about it, but once again, a couple things. One, obviously, you don't know who's going to be there, right? I said the Giants could, be in love with 2 quarterbacks. Could be Caleb Williams and could be Daniels. And Caleb Williams could go 1, Daniels could go 2. So when 3 rolls around, they got May and McCarthy there. They're like, nah, no thanks. We'll pass. So, once again, you don't know. You don't know who's going to be there. Who's, pretty much 99.9% is sure that Williams is going first, but who's going second, Who's going third? Is somebody jumping up other than the Giants? Maybe try to at spot number 4. Is it with the Vikings? Were the Vikings going to jump up to 4? The Vikings are going to try to jump and leapfrog in front of the Giants at 5. Vikings got 2 first-round picks. They got that for a reason. And it's not to jump up in front of the Giants to grab a punter. I can tell you that much, right? So I said, those are the things you don't know. Who's going to be there for the Giants? Who's going to be available? And the other thing is, it doesn't matter what we think. It does. It just doesn't matter. It only matters for a couple people. What Shane and Dable, right? Kafka's definitely going to have some say in it. Yeah, I mean, he's just, but it's not, he's not the final decision. But I'm sure, you got bright minds in there. Okay, it's what do they think? And they have access to other things that we don't. All I can do is watch YouTube videos and maybe the all 22 tapes and stuff like that and make my decisions. But I'm not in there. They got to visit. They're in there talking to the people. They're having dinner with them. Just a lot of things. It's like some of the things what Shane talks about, has talked about before, especially if you bring in somebody who wants to, they're going to be like the leader or the face of the franchise for years to come and all. Shane, said even something, we want to know, how does he treat the people in the cafeteria at his school, maybe even his high school, right? Is he up in line with his tray, coming to get some food, and he's got the cafeteria workers there, and he maybe in college, and he knows he's a big wig, and he's going to get drafted in the top 5 at the NFL draft, and he's going to make millions of dollars, and he's looking down at these cafeteria workers like, hey, let's get some food here, huh? I'm hungry. You know who I am, huh? I'm going to top 5 pick in the NFL, baby. I'm going to be a millionaire, and you're still going to be here just shoveling out food because you're a lowlife, and I'm the greatest thing that's ever walked the earth. Does he treat them like that? Or does he treat these people with kindness and respect, right? The way all human beings should treat each other, right? How you doing? He's got his tray here. How you doing? Good, yeah. Would you mind? I'd like to have some peas, please, and got some mashed potatoes. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Does he treat them like that, or does he treat them like dirt? Stuff like that's huge. Yeah, even something small like that, right? So that stuff we don't know, right? We're not talking to him. The same thing, especially with a quarterback, right? Going in there and they're asking him questions, right? They're maybe trying to rattle his cage a little bit, right? Asking him questions about coverages or this or that, stuff like that. And if he's like, let's play. This was, let's see, was this second down? It was third down. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was third down. And what we got going on here is, let's see what formation we, we don't know that. We have no idea. Or we're in there. If the guy, they're showing some footage or something like that. Does the quarterback jump up? He's got the money. What we got going on here? We got this zone. I'm reading this guy right here. When I'm dropping back, I'm reading him. See, does the safety come down? If the safety comes, do they rotate over? As I'm coming here. After this, I'm going over here. If that's not, he's the hot one. I'm coming. You know what I mean? Or does he go like that? We don't know. We have no idea. Yeah, no idea. Mel Kiper doesn't know. None of these gurus know. They don't know anything like that. So, all right. So I'm going to tell you what, though. If they wanted to go, they think Daniels is the guy. Freakish athlete. If they think that if Dable thinks that we get this guy in here, he takes some big hits, so he's got to learn to get down. Because the boys here in pros, they'll hit you, right? They hit you. So he's got to learn to get down. But I'll tell you, he's a freakish athlete. If they want him, got him, or if he fell to the Giants and they took him, sign me up for it. Right? Get the guy in the open and let him do his thing, right? The thing is, he's really good north and south. Like Lamar Jackson is kind of, got shifting. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, you don't want that freaking guy getting in the open either. But Lamar Jackson's got some shiftiness to him that just from what I'm hearing and seeing, all Daniels is, freakish fast and all that stuff. But he's kind of like a north and south kind of guy. But anyway, if Dable thinks, hey, this Daniels guy, I mean, he's pretty good, but I think I can elevate him a little bit more. I think we got something there. All for it. Absolutely all for it. All right, and we got this here. Now, let's not forget about Bryce Ford Wheaton. Now, this is going to also here, the Bryce Ford Wheaton, right, is also going to lead into like my last article I'm going to go over here. Somebody was missing from the Giants voluntary camp. Very interesting. And it's interesting because I don't want to tell you it's my last article. This guy signed a 2-year deal, so this is his second season, and he's holding out. So he's signed a deal to be here. Well, that's voluntary. So you're not sure. I mean, once again, it's voluntary. But if he's holding out a voluntary because he wants a new deal or something, but he's already signed for this year, so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, don't forget about Bryce Ford Wheaton, right? Who is this here? Ed Valentine. Draft question of the day. Does Bryce Ford Wheaton have an impact on the Giants' draft plans? And it says from Ed Valentine. And the answer is no. The calculus of how a team approaches the NFL draft is always impacted by what they have on the roster and what it doesn't. The Giants won't be any different this year. Today's draft question of the day asks about whether an under-the-radar player could change what the Giants do at number 6. Well, yeah, I mean, if doing it number 6, if they're like, no, we're not going to draft a straight-up dog of a wide receiver because we got Bryce Ford Wheaton, it's not happening. No. This one dude, I guess, asks Ed Valentine. He says, following the seemingly endless number of draft prognosticators over the past few months when it comes to our impeding number 6 pick, and more specifically, the question on whether we should take either Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze, if they are indeed the 2 remaining top wide receiver choices at that point, I've yet to see anyone cite the fact that the Giants already have a guy on the roster who is both slightly bigger and faster than Odunze, Bryce Ford Wheaton. I am fully aware that Ford Wheaton was not drafted and was instead signed as an undrafted free agent last year, but one must keep in mind that he was probably the most sought-after undrafted free agent in the entire NFL at the time, which is why the Giants inked him to 2 years instead of the traditional 1 at a higher than normal guarantee. My point is that there's obviously something there with this guy, and that maybe, just maybe, drafting Odunze in this case may turn out to be at least somewhat redundant. This is why I believe that the Giants will opt for the more OBJ-like Neighbors with the first pick. What do you think? Well, that's possible, but now Ed Valentine says the Giants might well like Malik Neighbors more than Rome Odunze. I don't know. The majority opinion seems to be that Neighbors is ahead of Odunze, and some think he is ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. in the wide receiver rankings. I hope this doesn't come off as a snotty answer, but the Giants' decision on which wide receiver to select will have nothing to do with Bryce Ford Wheaton. We're talking about a developmental former undrafted free agent who might have made the roster last season as a special teamer player, but missed the entire season with a torn ACL. That's just freaking absolutely, one more time for the hearing impaired, freaking just kills you, man. You got somebody you get a little excited about, might have made the roster, undrafted free agent. Hopefully, he's not going to burst onto the scene and come up with 87 catches for 13. That's not happening. But I'm saying if you can get him in there for a little periods of time, maybe make some catches here and works on his craft and all that stuff, maybe, but I mean, just to have him at least make the team as a special teamer, man, that would have been fantastic. But, it's just crap just kills you. You get excited about these guys and stuff like that, like Beavers, and and they wind up getting injured before the season even starts. It just kills you, absolutely kills you. And it was a straight up bummer with Bryce Ford Wheaton. Hopefully he'll be back this season. The thing is now, always let's not forget, the ACLs usually takes the guy 2 seasons to be back to where he was at before, if not even better condition than he was before, what I heard. So it's kind of like what happened with Beavers last season. Beavers did not make he was wound up, not I think he was on the practice squad, right? He tried, but he just didn't have that burst that he had in his rookie season. Didn't quite make the team, right? But he still, we still got him. But hopefully this season coming back will be as good as he was 2 seasons ago. And let's look for good things. I'll tell you what, if we get Beavers, if we can stay healthy and make the final 53, man, that'd be fantastic. Because I really, I mean, the guy's a nice size, especially for a linebacker. Nice size. I'm very excited if we can get Beavers back on the 53, and if he can stay healthy, very excited. I'm not saying the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer or not like that, but I think he can be a contributor. If not on the defense, at least maybe special teams, right? Now, because he was like a step or so behind or whatever, like last year. He wasn't quite himself. He wasn't as good as he was his rookie season. Might be the same thing this year with Bryce Ford Wheaton. I hope not. I hope he comes back. He's 110% of what he was last year, but usually that's not the case. So Bryce Ford Wheaton doesn't have a fantastic training camp and all that stuff. Maybe you can't blame him totally 100%. So hopefully, if he's not on the 53 this year, maybe we can get him around and keep him around, and he'll be on the team next year. And maybe if he can stay healthy next year, maybe he'll be back and as good as ever. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. He is back to square one, trying to prove he belongs. I like Ford Wheaton, but there was a reason he went undrafted. You know what I mean? Now after the draft was over, he might have been a highly sought out guy, but I mean, he went 7 rounds and nobody picked him. Okay. He faces an uphill battle to make the roster. Even if he does, Ford Wheaton will spend most of the time on special teams. Let's see here. The Giants choose between Neighbors and Odunze. It will purely be about which player they like better and which one they feel can help them the most. If we won't have anything to do with Ford Wheaton or other practice squad players like Chase Cota and Dennis Houston, who are on the 90-man roster. Going a little further on this, I've seen people say that the recent signing of Dante Miller means the Giants won't draft a running back. Again, that's silly. The Giants might draft a back. They might not. Miller, who flashed incredible speed at his pro day, but has not played since the middle of the 2022 season. He is a kid the Giants are taking a flyer on. And, if it works out, cool. If it doesn't, it didn't cost them a heck of a lot. They aren't counting on him, and his presence on the 90-man roster won't have anything to do with what the Giants do in the draft. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm certainly pulling for him. Once again, it's certainly not something that, he can't work on his craft and maybe get a little bit better. But if he's not on the 53 this season, it just could quite possibly be that he's not fully come back from the injury. The one nice thing is that, getting injured early, right, means that when, training camp and whatever else, you had a full year, so let's keep your fingers crossed. I mean, he's one of those guys you're very excited about having, on the roster. And if he does wind up making the team, or if he's around and he makes the team next season, somebody who can maybe do some contributing on the wide receiver, but at least have him on special teams as well too. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I think that question was a little bit silly. It doesn't matter what. I mean, what the Giants are going to draft. I mean, there's a reason why he was undrafted. And if Odunze, right, it's kind of like, if he's kind of, one guy asked the question, if he's kind of comparing Odunze and Bryce Ford Wheaton, well, we're not going to draft the Dunze because we got Bryce Ford Wheaton. That's The reason why you take a Dunze at 6 and you just take him and just plug him right in your offense. And you're like, all right, buddy, we'll see you after 17 games, pal. Okay, all right, have a good season. All right, there's a reason why you just plug and play him. Right, and you hope he lasts 10 seasons, and then you got Bryce Ford Wheaton, who was not drafted. Big difference there. All right, then we got this is a little interesting. The Giants made a little bit of change to their training facility. Giants make subtle yet potentially important change to the training facility. This is from Michael Lee from Giants Country here. Of all the categories in which the Giants have found themselves among the league's leader on an annual basis, this is not good. The one category in which they would just as soon rank toward the bottom of the league rather than the top is in injuries. Oh yeah. To hopefully end that streak, the Giants rehired Aaron Wellman as the team's executive director of player performance. Wellman, who had an earlier stint with the team back in 2019 to 2016 as the strength and conditioning coordinator, helped the Giants curtail some of those nagging injuries that have seemingly spiraled out of control of late. Now, in his second tenure with the team and in charge of the entire performance program, I think this could be one of those under the radar signings or bringing them back that could possibly turn out to be huge, right? Because now he's in charge of the entire performance program, and I heard he's like a no nonsense kind of guy. He's a good worker, serious, dedicated. No nonsense, and he gets good results. So I think this could be Wellman could be a huge signing or re-signing for the Giants. Wellman has wasted little time revamping the team's weight room to better reflect the tested philosophies he believes in. So, I mean, that is what you bring the guy in for, right? Yeah, he gets results. Okay, he has philosophies and all. It's like, hey. Sorry, here's the keys to the Ferrari. What do you want us to do? Right? Because what we've been doing doesn't work. Let's try your way. Right? So, hey, Coach Brian Daboll speaking to reporters via video conference on the first day of the team's offseason program mentioned one such change Wellman had made to the weight room, the addition of a piece of turf. Something simple, but could have some big time good results to it. We'll have to wait and see. Why is this significant? Performing different movements and exercises on a carpet versus natural grass versus turf can change the exertion level on the body. For example, grass is known to give a little bit better than carpet. So the thought process is that if the players are going to be playing on artificial turf, it makes sense for them to do some of their exercises and movements on the same surface. Whether this change reduces the number of soft tissue injuries remains to be seen. So the jury's out, right? But so the Giants have to do something to stop the seemingly annual rash of injuries that have repeatedly thwarted them. I mean, this is something. I mean, nothing's going to derail a season faster than injuries. And you just start looking at all the money you spend, scouting and this and that, and bringing guys in and training and all this, and the speeches and this, all that stuff. You spend money and man out, all of that stuff just to get ready for the season, and 95% of your team gets wiped out with injuries. It's like, your season's over. Forget about it. Right? I mean, there's really no team out there, okay, that's going to lose their starting quarterback 2 times. They play a significant portion of the season with their third string quarterback and try to go to a Super. I mean, the Chiefs ain't winning a Super Bowl with their third string quarterback. Not happening. Right? So, this is something with the injuries. You do whatever you can do. possibly can do to bring, I mean, whatever you can do. You're not, well, we don't want to spend too much money. No, you spend whatever you need to spend to get people in, to get things in, to change the training room around, to build on another building, whatever you got to do. You get this fixed. And I mentioned this a couple of times. And once again, I don't know, Sorry, I'm trying to move my legs and I don't want to hit my buddy Randy here. And I said, I talked about this before. And once again, I don't know. But if you go back, okay, and you look over like the last 10 years or so, whatever it is, and you see who is what teams are been the healthiest. Okay, what teams are the healthiest? And you pick the phone up. Shane picks the phone up. Mr. Mara picks the phone up, whoever it is. And Mr. Mara talks to the owner of said team. Or you take the top 5 teams. He picks the phone up and he talks to said 5 team owners, right? Maybe he might get one person to say yes. Nobody's going to shoot you. Nobody's going to throw you in jail. Nothing. All they could say would be no, right? But you ask them, do you mind if we come in? We don't want. We're not looking at none of your how you perform your drill and whatnot. But do you mind if we come in and maybe take a look around and see how you got stuff set up, or mind if we talk to your strength and conditioning guy or the performance guy? Can we talk? Do you mind if we talk to them or something like that? That basically they can't, we'll give you one of our draft packs. I mean, you're not going to do that, but Mr. Mara could say, hey, I heard you got a foundation going, right, for cancer, right? Yeah, I mean, I got I just happen to have a blank check in front of me. I got a 1, and there's a bunch of zeros behind it. You know what I mean? Right? I can make a little donation. Right. I mean, I think that's legal. I mean, you wash our back, we wash. As I said, I mean, we're not asking for your playbook. We're not asking for this and all. All we're looking for is just, come in and just look around and just, talk to, as I said, some of you, the coaches or the trainers and stuff like that. Maybe we can get some better feel on maybe how we can stay healthy. Maybe the pulled hamstrings and stuff like that. Maybe we can, right? You wash our back. I'm sure I can write a check out, right? Help your foundation or whatever, right? I don't see why they can't do something like that. I mean, I'm saying it's like every year we're injured. Well, maybe this will be the year we won't be. So maybe we'll be injury free. Well, why are you thinking that? I mean, the past 300 years, you've led the league in injuries. Whoa, this is going to be the magical year? You're going to stay healthy? Yeah. And then 2 games, we were 42 seconds into the Cowboy game. We had our kicker got cleated or stepped on or something like that. Our left tackle, our all-pro left tackle, pulls a hamstring. He's out for half the season. It's like, oh, maybe this year will be. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's just. I mean, even basically to me, anyway. I mean, before you're even trying to win a football game or something like this, you attack this. You're a bunch of, I don't know, a bunch of sharks, and you're in the water, and you're hungry, and there's blood everywhere. And those great white sharks are just foaming at the mouth. Oh, I got some food. I mean, you got to attack this. The injuries. It's just, oh no, I think we'll be okay this year with the injuries. No, or you smoking something? I mean, look at your injury list the past 10, 15 years or whatever. You're number 1. Yeah, you're number 1. Yeah, you're number 1 as far as injuries. Yeah. So what, this year's going to be different? Are you serious? You got to attack this, So, I mean, I think bringing him back could be huge, right? And, if he thinks training on some carpet or whatever can help, cool. But I think, because once again, I said he gets results. He's serious. He's dedicated. no nonsense. He takes it very seriously and all. I think this could be an under the radar, really good signing for the Giants. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's hope that, hey, injuries happen. Every team gets injuries, period. It's football, contact. You got these freakish athletes flying all over the field trying to make plays and stuff like that. Things are going to happen, okay? But for the past, going back to when Jesus Christ walked the earth, you've led the league in injuries, right? I mean, something's wrong. You need to do something, right? So I think at least very happy about that, bringing Wallen back. So that's really, really good. So I thought, this very subtle, putting some carpet in there for the guys to train on, maybe it'll help. We'll have to wait and see. So, all right. Then there's this here, man. I'll tell you what. Bill Belichick, the Belichick rumors. Bill Belichick eyes Giants and their closest rivals for next coaching job, with his future uncertain. This is from Matt Eol, I guess. Never heard of him before. It's from the New York Post. And I don't know. I don't even know why the Giants would even want to. I mean, guys, I think he's 72. If he comes in next year, he's going to be 73. I mean, he had some very good success. He actually had some success with the Browns back in the before they moved to Baltimore. He had one of the years they did very well. They went to the playoffs. I think it's last year there. They missed the playoffs. I think they had some injuries and stuff like that. But one of the years before that, they went to the playoffs. He did a very good job. But let's also not forget when he was with the Patriots, he had some, let's not forget, he had some very good teams, right? But he also had Tom Brady there too. Okay. But yeah, I mean, so somewhere along the line, it's kind of like, is football passed them by? I mean, sure, up here and everything like that, but how much his heart and soul is going to want to put into it? And of course, I'm sure he's not coming back to be a defensive coordinator either. You know what I mean? So, but I saw a couple of days. Well, maybe I'll tell you what. Maybe if the Eagles want to get him, cool. But there will be a Bill Belichick-sized shadow of the NFC East this upcoming season. That'll be interesting too, right? I mean, let's not forget Giants, Eagles, cow turds, right? I mean, if McCarthy doesn't get, I mean, if once again he's a first round exit, or they don't. I mean, they really haven't upgraded. They've lost a lot of guys. So I mean, if they start going down the dumper, and McCarthy winds up getting canned, that'd be a heck of a juicy story, wouldn't it? Bill Belichick in Dallas. Well, I guess if Saquon went to the Beagles, I guess Bill Belichick could go to the Cowboys. Well, Bill Parcells did, so, right? All right. Let's see here. After being shut out from a coaching gig this offseason after parting ways with the Patriots, Belichick has told Confidence he is interested in potentially leading the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles, according to ESPN. Among those teams, one friend of Belichick told the outlet they believe the Cowboys represent Belichick's only path to a head coaching role. Well, once again, I don't know about this. I certainly don't know about with the Eagles and all like that. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. Just with the Giants, it's like, I think he's 72. Belichick reportedly has told those close to him he expects to land at least one interview during the next coaching hire cycle. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get an interview. But I mean, I mean, as old as he is, I don't know how long he's going to last for. I don't think Belichick will ever be a head coach again in the National Football League, the friend said, unless it's for Jerry Jones. I said I could certainly see that's something that Jerry Jones would do. Absolutely. That Belichick has the eyes on 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC East is an especially intriguing nugget, since it's fair to say that those 3 teams are facing critical 2024 seasons. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, if the Eagles, if they take another step back, or because all of the the guys that Howie Roseman, he signed like 1,398 different free agents. He spent like $450 trillion in free agents, and still somehow there's still like $3 billion under the salary cap. Because basically Howie signs these guys and he puts 352 million void years onto the end of their contracts. So basically they'll be paying these guys for the next 800 years. So, but I mean, if the Eagles don't go really far, maybe, their coach gets fired. McCarthy, if he bombs, if the Cowboys bomb out this year, McCarthy might be fired. Dable's seat might start getting a little hot. We'll have to wait and see. But let's see. Let's start with the Giants facing a pivotal year 3 in the Brian Dable and Joe Schoen regime. The Giants made the playoffs during the 2022 season, but suffered through a disappointing 2023. A lot of it, it was disappointing. There was some bad coaching calls, bad coaching decisions, absolutely. But a lot of bad luck, right? Injuries. They're preparing for a potentially franchise-altering pick in this year's draft, in which they must decide whether to select a quarterback. Belichick has previously shared his affection for the Giants after serving as a defensive coordinator for 2 of their Super Bowls. Cowboys and Eagles both were rumored as potential fits for Belichick this offseason, but ultimately stayed with their respective coaches. Dallas owner Jerry Jones decided to stick with McCarthy after yet another disappointing postseason, and McCarthy is likely coaching his job this season. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because it's in the last year of his contract as well, too. Oh, yeah. Now, that's not to say that if McCarthy, say, takes them to a championship game and they lose by maybe he'll be back. But, I mean, if another first-round exit in the playoffs, or if they don't make the playoffs or something like that, McCarthy's gone. Oh, yeah. Belichick and Jones are decades-long friends, according to ESPN, and Belichick would make sense for a win-now roster. Yeah. Some bad blood between Patriots owner Robert Kraft and Belichick could also give the former coach reason to want to join Jones in Dallas. And Belichick told a friend that he liked the idea of sticking it to the Kraft by working for Jones, according to the ESPN roster. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie and general manager Howie Roseman are also both described as fans of Belichick, with Lurie asking a confident about Belichick's status this offseason, per the report. Belichick would have been interested in that opening, according to ESPN. That would have been interesting if the Eagles fired their coach, right, and brought Belichick in. That would have been very, very interesting. Roseman and Belichick chatted this offseason, although a source told the outlet that the talk did not veer into any discussion about joining the Eagles. The Eagles still felt that he had his fastball, ESPN wrote. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll have to wait and see. But they're sticking with Sirianni. So ultimately, the Eagles have decided to stick with coach Nick Sirianni. Sirianni led Philadelphia to the Super Bowl just 2 seasons ago, but authored a collapse after a 10-1 start last season and ended with a wild-card loss to the Bucs. The organization had some concerns about how much overhaul would be needed for Belichick. And, if you're going to have to overhaul the team for Belichick, how long is Belichick going to want to coach until he's 76 or 77 or something like that? I mean, it's not for everybody, You'll have to start over again, a source told ESPN. Who would replace him? He hasn't had a good record of developing coaches. They were afraid that he'll have changed everything in every person, and then they'll be starting from scratch again. He didn't demand those changes, but they felt like if we hire him, we have to give him everything to him and trust how he does it. So, and he's a 72-year-old. Yeah. So, so if he winds up, Belichick winds up coming in, coaching somebody next season, he'll be 73 years old. He'd have to maybe bring in all his coaches, the new coaches. The one thing also, too, is that, I think he was kind of like the GM, I think, with the Patriots, right? Or he had some say in it, stuff like that. If he came to with the Eagles, he can talk to Howie Roseman, but he's, Howie Roseman was the one bringing guys in. The Giants, the Eagles, and the Cow. They all got GMs, and Jerry Jones is the GM there. So things would certainly be different. But the thing is, are they going to want to bring about a 73-year-old guy who might only coach for another? He might. I don't want to sound like the Grim Reaper, but his health could start going after a couple of years, something like that. So I have to wait and see. It was kind of almost like with Bill Parcells, because when Bill Parcells wound up going, he coached like 3 years or so, 3-4 years with the Patriots. I think he was with the Jets for like 3 years. He was with the Cowboys for like 3 or 4. He's only going to be there for so long. Bill Parcells was never going to be coaching the Cowboys for 10 years. That wasn't happening. Because even Bill Parcells kind of said something like, when the season's over with, you're kind of like, whew. Then you start thinking in your head what it's going to take to get through another season. And it's always kind of like, is that something I'm able to give to the team, to the coach, to the organization, all of that? It takes a lot. It's not just, I'll just show back up. Yeah, let's go. Especially when he was with the Cowboys, he was getting up there in age, and he only coached there for a few seasons, and that's all he was ever going to be there for. I'm saying, but when he was with I said it was a few years with the Patriots. He left the Patriots. He was a few years with the Jets. He left the Jets. Went a few years with the Cowboys. But that's it. So you start getting up there in age. It's not like Belichick's going to be coaching the Cowboys for the next 20 years. That's not happening, right? So, but it's always something interesting to talk about. But buyer beware. If somebody's going to bring Bill Belichick in, he did very good. Obviously, really, really, really good with the Patriots, but let's not forget Tom Brady was there too. Now, how well would Bill Belichick have done with the Patriots if, he didn't have Tom Brady there? Don't know. All right, and then finally, now they got a guy here kind of holding out. Well, I don't want to say holding out, but usually, the voluntary, off-season programs and all of that. Most people show up, and sometimes if somebody doesn't show up, it raises a little red flag there. So the Giants' leading wide receiver, Darius Slayton, skips workouts as he seeks a new deal. Now he is, he's getting paid this season. He's under contract this season, but I guess he wants an extension. Now the thing is this kind of also show, him, and this will show you where Shane and all of that are coming from if they don't want to, give him a new deal. He sees everybody else getting paid. He's leading the team in receiving every year, 4 out of 5 years, right? And he's only making $6 million. Porous offensive line, very questionable or whatever quarterback play and all that stuff. And every year he has over 4 out of 5 years, he has over 700 receiving yards. Very consistent, right? And he's only getting paid $6 million, which for me, that would be a great payday. But in the world of wide receivers, where DeVonta Smith's making $25 million and Brown's making $25 million, ABCD Lamb probably wants $25 or $30 million. So he feels, I guess he's getting a little underpaid there. Darius Slayton has not reported to the Giants' voluntary workout while he seeks a contract extension from the team. A source told ESPN. He was their leading receiver last season and 4 of the past 5 years. Slayton signed a 2-year, $12.2 million contract prior to last season. He's due $6.2 million in the final year of his deal. Slayton has been a regular attendee of the Giants' voluntary offseason program in the past, and he has a $350,000 workout bonus available based on his attendance this year. But he still seems likely to skip this spring in search of a new contract. So apparently he's looking, I guess, to leave $350,000 on the table. Now, Giants reported for the start of their offseason workout program on Monday. Coach Brian Daboll said in a video conference call with reporters that there was a very good turnout. That apparently did not include Slayton or tight end Darren Waller, who is contemplating retirement. Slayton and Waller were the Giants' top 2 receivers last season. Slayton, 27, had 50 catches for 774 yards. Quality numbers considering the struggles an offense had that produced just 16 touchdown catches last season. That is freaking pathetic. Slayton tied with running back Saquon Barkley for the team lead with 4. Barkley signed with the Beagles. A lot could change for the Giants at wide receiver position in the coming days, though. The Giants had the number 6 pick in the NFL draft. So, I mean, Slayton is scheduled to become a free agent following this season and would be entering a wide receiver market that proved strong this year. Gabe Davis, let's see, got $13 million. Darnell Mooney got $13 million. Even Curtis Samuel, who had topped 700 yards receiving once in his 7 professional seasons, received $8 million per season from the Bills. So, I mean, he's got Slayton has over 3,300 yards and 19 touchdowns. He has 220 receptions. 5 seasons, just over 3,300 yards. A very, very poor offensive line. Not the greatest quarterback play. All this stuff, and so. And also, I got another article here. It says from Zach Wasenk from Yardbarker, why the Giants star could become a pre-draft trade piece. Now, let's also not forget, too. I said, once again, we don't know about Bryce Ford Wheaton. Right? Will he be ready to rock and roll this season after the ACL? We don't know. But, right, we have, obviously, we got Hyatt, right? To bring back Hodgins, right? And we got Wan'Dale Robinson. We have some other guys as well, too, and maybe Bryce Ford Wheaton. But then let's not forget, without question, they're going to add a wide receiver in this draft. Now, whether it's pick 6, whether it's in the 2nd round or 3rd round, they're adding a wide receiver. So they do add a wide receiver. Does that make somebody expendable? And I said, no, once again, if Slayton wants a new contract or something like that, this might be his last season. He may not. Was he going to hold out? Will he not show up? Will he not play? Who knows? But then in this other article, you could if the Giants do draft a wide receiver, right? They got Hyatt, they got Robinson, then they got Odunze, they got their 3. They got their starting 3. All right. They don't want to pay, they're going to pay Slayton $10 million a year if he's going to be a backup. If they have visions of Hyatt, Robinson, and Odunze as their starting 3, why are they going to pay Slayton $10 million to be on the bench? Doesn't make any sense. So this other article, they talk about him possibly being a trade piece or, trade bait in the draft, maybe to move up. We'll give you we'll give you our 2nd round pick. Right, and we'll give you our leading receiver from the last 5 seasons. And can we move up a couple spots? So let's see here. Whoops. It's possible that wide receiver Darius Slayton has played his last meaningful snap as a member of the New York Giants. ESPN's Jordan Renan reported on Wednesday afternoon that Slayton has not yet showed up for the Giants' voluntary offseason program because the 27-year-old wants a contract extension from the team. Per Renan and Josh Alper of Pro Football Talk, Slayton is in the final year of his deal that is set to pay him roughly $6.2 million, including a base salary of $2.5 million. Giants theoretically shouldn't want to lose any additional offseason contributors, considering they lost Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller might retire, and then of course their leading receiver for 4 of the past 5 seasons. They're going to trade him away too. So I mean, right. According to ESPN stats, Slayton finished the 2023 season 3rd on the Giants with 50 receptions, 1st with 79 targets, 1st with 770 receiving yards, and tied for 1st with 4 receiving touchdowns. However, the Giants spent a 2022 2nd round pick on Wan'Dale Robinson, before they used a 2023 third-round choice to land Jalen Hyatt. Many believe New York team that finished this past season at 6-11 will use the 6th overall pick on 2024 draft to grab a dog of a wide receiver number 1. So general manager Joe Shea may ultimately deem before the first round gets underway on April 25th that Slayton is worth more to the club as a tradable asset. And also, if they get rid of him, right, they'll save themselves some money, right? Give them some more cap space. Specifically, analysts have routinely linked the Giants with LSU Tigers receiver Malik Nabers and Washington Huskies star Rome Odunze. In a mock draft published on Wednesday, Dane Brugler of The Athletic noted that Nabers would have been my number 1 overall prospect in each of the last 2 draft classes. Wow. Renan mentions that Slayton is a favorite of New York starting quarterback Daniel Jones. Oh, yeah. That may mean little to Shane and company, as multiple offseason reports have claimed that the Giants would part ways with Jones as soon as next offseason. Right, so they're starting to bring in their own guys, right? So Giants may not move up this year's draft order from the 6th pick to a top-tier quarterback prospect, but acquiring an asset for Slayton could help Shane make a trade that would allow the executive to select Washington's Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix of the Oregon Ducks at some point during the week. Now that's the that wouldn't be such a bad thing either, right? I mean, if they trade Slayton to whoever for say a 4th round pick, just a 4th or 5th round pick, just saying, right? That way they can couple their 2nd round pick up. Right, pick number 47. They picked up somebody's 4th round pick or whatever, right? So they can put up the 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and maybe a conditional, whatever, 4th round pick from next year or something, whatever. And they go from 47 and move up, right? If to whatever, 33, 32, 31, something, whatever, 35. If somebody's on the board there, move up 12 spots. So you get pick 47, you trade Slayton, get a 4th rounder, and maybe you can move up. Right? Maybe it might cost you a 5th rounder too. So maybe you trade your 2nd rounder, you trade Slayton, you get a 4th rounder for him, and maybe a 5th rounder for next year, whatever. Right? And you can move up into the early 2nd round or maybe back end of the 1st round or something like that and snag that quarterback. And it really won't cost you. It costs you, maybe your 2nd round pick. But of course, Darius Slayton too. But I mean, if you're going to get rid of Slayton, you're quite possibly going to get somebody to take his place with pick 6 overall. And the person that you're going to grab at pick 6 is going to be better than Slayton. I mean, not saying Slayton's horrible by any stretch of the imagination. I love him. I hope he's a Giant forever. I mean, what he did. He was relegated to like the practice squad 2 seasons ago. He didn't even look like he was even going to make the freaking team a couple seasons ago. Practice squad and all this, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 all these freaking injuries, and all of a sudden, Darius Slayton's on the team, right? He kept his mouth shut, kept his head down, kept focused. He just kept doing his job, didn't say nothing bad. He was so happy to be here because with him and Daniel Jones. Right, they have a rapport going with one another. Daniel Jones was this guy. Darius Slayton's a class act guy. He can be on the Giants for the next 300 years, and I absolutely loved it. But, it's the nature of the beast. Things happen. People get moved all the time and everything like that. So, I mean, if he becomes a trade piece, It is what it is. I said, I hope we can keep him, but if not, I said, if he wants a contract extension, I don't blame him. But then again, if Shane and Dable see otherwise, or Shane sees otherwise, maybe wind up trading him. But I said he could quite possibly, I said if you trade him and get a 4th round pick for him or something like that, that could help. Get a 4th round pick, and trade your 2nd round pick, and maybe you can move up in the draft and grab somebody, the quarterback or something like that. It'd be fantastic. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 13 minutes. We're almost. Well, it's 12:01. We are 7 days away from the draft. Yeah, baby. Gotta love it. It's like freaking Christmas around here, isn't it? Right. So anyway, Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.